Brian, the Perrodin, the project specialist, with you today. Again, it's Monday, so I'm going to call this Monster Monday. Our goal the other day, I did a video on cutting up that big log with my smaller chainsaw. Well, and I'm hoping this is working. I'm trying this. This is a brand new experiment. Trying to step out a little bit, but I've got it cut up, and I got some of this all along here's cut up. I want to get this split and thrown in the bin. So we're going to hook up. We're going to do this a little differently. I'm going to show you another feature of that 27-ton Gravely wood splitter that I like. I don't use it a lot because for the most part I can lift any chunk of firewood up with the tractor, just slide it onto the rack on the wood splitter, and then slide it into the cradle. And so, I'm not killing myself doing it. But this thing also tips vertically. So I'm going to move the wood splitter over right here to these big chunks. I'm going to set it vertically, and we're going to split those. And I'm going to let this run in real time, because the thing that has kind of bugged me is I do a before, I do an after, but you really don't get to see anything happening along the line. We're going to put the quick attach bucket on, and yeah, that simplicity, that's going to be a project one of these days too. It won't start. It's an older snowblower, but it really goes through the snow furrows that the city employees leave me. So over on 4th Street, and no fault of theirs, there's no other place to go with it. So anyways, we're going to hit that today. Oh gosh, I'll be glad when we get the 4-season room totally done and I can get all these supplies out of here. But then gosh knows what my next project will be. Let's get this fired up. It's about 20 degrees out this morning. It's supposed to be another warm week. We're supposed to be low to mid 40s here by Wednesday, I think. Not good for snowmobiling. So, but good for getting projects done. We've got the X300 just sitting over there with the cab on, all ready to go, and no fun to be had. All right, so I've got to grab, oh boy, everyone gets to see where I leave the key. I'll find a different spot for that. Okay, now John Deere 1025R, great tractor. Also need to get this in for servicing. I'll do that one day this week too. We'll get one of those 30,000 BTU heaters that I did a thing on. I'm looking this morning. They just had, unfortunately, those tornadoes down by Nashville this weekend. And how many of those houses are sitting, although it's not that cold right now, how many of those houses are sitting without power? If I lived in the South, I would definitely have one of those Mr. Heater 30,000 BTU heaters for such an incident, because some of these people may not have power for a week, and you don't want your water lines freezing. The tornado did a lot of damage. The cold could do even more. Starting a little cold this morning. I'm going to cycle the glow plugs one more time here. This thing starts, this is a diesel. It starts rough, but it runs beautifully once it's going. I got 87 hours on it now. They just start rough. Love the tractor. bucket up here. I do not really mind the winter. As long as I can be outside doing stuff, I'm good with winter. So I gassed the wood splitter up the other day. I should get off the tractor and lock the bucket. The bottom of the bucket has 2 pins on it. Okay. Well, I have to anyways, because I'm going to pick this up and the hitch is in the down position here. So, right here, pull that out of there, slides right in there. Come over to here. Gonna take the lock out, flip the hitch button up. I'm gonna set this over by, normally I don't leave gas cans out, but I did this morning. We'll brush this off. Okay. Should put the other pin in, but I forgot on the other side. Quite high enough up in the air for me to get under it. So I'm going to go alongside it. Gotta put that in neutral. Oh, just nothing as therapeutic as the sound of a diesel engine running. Slide that quick hitch pin in. Okay, so I'm going to set the hitch on top of that. I got to back up a little bit. Hopefully it falls in. Well, let's see how it goes. Not in there because it's on the back of that clasp that's supposed to move forward. Well, we're not going too far. The other thing I have on this tractor is mirrors, and actually I'm going to order a set from Goodworks Tractors. They've got the ones that bolt on. These are on with magnets, and I've done it. I've had them come off going through some brush. They get bumped off. I always take them off before I load this on the trailer to take into town to work at one of the properties, mainly when I had the apartment building. But I'm going to get the ones that bolt on through there and there from Good Works Tractors. They look like they might be the cat's meow. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna get noisy around here. Let's see if this starts. It can be a little finicky at times. The other day, 2 pulls, and away it went. A couple more this time. Bring the tractor bucket over so I can fill it right away. I'm hoping I can just, there's enough room in the wood bin yet, the wood shed, that I can just dump the stuff in there. I'm going to leave the tractor run this time so it charges the battery. A lot of short stops are not good. All right. Let's see how Mabel the Cradle does here. Oh. Big chunk. Look at that. 27 tons of brute. Oh yeah. Always be careful of the fingers. Okay? That jumped out on me. One in the bucket. about this process is wood splits easier when it's cold. It just snaps. Best time to do it is, you know, January or December like this. All right. A bucket for me will last about a week. Well, but shouldn't say that. About 3 days. Oh man, I'm gonna get this chunk. So here's another cool feature of this. It's got the arms that if it jams up, you just raise it up to those arms and those arms will knock that wood out. Like that. Perfect. That's a nice piece of firewood. All right. So this one I could try to split again. A lot of times these don't go well. They do that. They land up, they crumble a part of it off. But that's a little bit easier. That's a nice piece. That's my bird piece for the night. This one, I think now the last 3 rows is probably going to be a winter, start of next year's bird. This is how you keep a man older than dirt moving and in shape. Set those on way. I do like it better when the table is horizontal on this than vertical. I can move a little faster. At splitting. Now, is this the fastest way? Is this the best way? There are others that are faster ways of splitting. There's one out there. Well, but it's not like I'm doing this commercially. So for the DIYer that needs to keep your house heated for the winter, This is a really good price point. And I got this used. Oh, that's a little on the small side. There we go. So I got it even a little bit better price. Now, with anything, you've got to, with anything like this, you got to make sure you keep your hands clear and be very careful with this, because just like this can cut through wood, it easily can take a finger off. So, be careful. Make sure you know what you're doing. That's a nice piece of firewood. That one's not bad. Alright, here we go. We're fighting with this one. I've got more stupid arthritis in these shoulders. To deal with. Why do I make my own firewood? Because our wood stove is a little narrower, a little smaller. So the stuff that you buy around here is a little bit for an average or normal wood stove. So, if you don't want to have to go through and cut the end off of each of them, you just make it yourself. I'm going to finish this chunk up, and then we're going to take it over and I'll show you the woodshed process. Hit that like and subscribe button. I want to keep building a base, and then I can make some, I keep working and reading, trying to figure out how to get better with the technology end of this. So you'll begin to see some improvements as I learn more. Yeah, I should have one of those GoPros. And we, honest to God, went through, cleaned the shed out, in town just a couple of weeks ago, and we threw out my old video camera stand, and I don't think that would have worked for us anyways. This is one chunk here. So I know 2 buckets equals a week of firewood for me. Alright. I'll shut that down. I'm going to walk you through. So that's the time it took me to split that piece up. Normally I'd fill the bucket totally up, or what I do is I bring chunks over. You saw I had the wood splitter sitting right by the bin, right? So normally what I do, I bring the wood splitter, I have the wood splitter over there, I split a piece, I throw it in the woodshed, and then I off to the side, and then I go back in after I get 2 or 3 bucket loads split, and I pile it in there, stack it, so I got more room. With going vertically today, we've had to change that a little bit. Now, as I pointed out in other videos, but I'll show you, December 16th, we have gone through, you see this pile, this was left over from last year. We've gone through about half of that. Some of these need to be cut a little shorter, but we've gone through about half of that. We've got this row back here. This is off of that big maple that we cut up, and that's the slab wood that's left over. We got this row. That's all that's left of that row. These here I'm going to split. That are on this end over here. They're a little wide for in the fireplace. So we've gone through that, and we've gone through this already. In fact, there are just some brackets that I made. I put those in the garage, and during the winter I can paint my 8-inch LP siding, and I just set it on there to dry overnight. Ooh, we got a tree that the woodpeckers have been busy on. All right, let's see if we can lock out and just get the bucket in and dump this right on the front of the woodshed. And that's going to, well, then I'll get out, I'll stack the one. Here, I'm going to stack, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to land up, well, we'll finish this row on my left. We'll finish this up. I like to take them up and tuck them into that roof beam. That gives the front a little bit more stability if I can. And so we're going to finish this row up. Then we're going to come back, do the outside row. And then on this one, well, I'm going to do both at once. I'm going to try to start at the back and work to the front. Otherwise, what I tend to do is I stack the front part, and then on these here, because they're too narrow to walk in between, then I land up with at least one row just tossing it in there. But if I start at the back on both of them too, I've done it that way. I'll fill the back much as I can. I'll end up tossing part of one row, this middle row here, into that outside position. Or I'll end up just tossing that in there. And I'll fill the outside position kind of as a barrier the way in a normal stack. Well, I need to get my hitch back to the one pickup truck too. All right, let's see if we get lucky and can dump it, and then we'll do a little stack. So then you see about the amount of time. Yeah, I used to have two mirrors. Well, one of them got knocked off and broke. So like I said, the magnetic ones, I'd pay the extra money, go to Good Works Tractors and get the bolt-on ones that they have. So I've got a feeling, yeah, that's not going to work. So we're going to do it this way. See if I can leave myself enough room to squeeze through there. Let's see how this goes. Let's see, can I reach it all? Or do I want to? Oh yeah, I can reach it. Otherwise I'd toss it in there. Toss at least half of the bucket in there. But I won't. All right. When I was younger, this used to be easier. Yeah, that trailer hitch there. Another good purpose for that is to do the split. With this, when you pile, okay, you see how I've got the ends rotated out. This is the important part. Now I'll tie this all the way across. You don't want to get too far ahead if you can, or too high, because you want this to all tie together. And that provides you with a much stronger pile. From the previous video I did on my woodshed here, you notice that there are gaps in the floor. That's so that the air moves. The more air, the better. It dries faster, dries better. And, but the other issue with that is I always have to have my cell phone with, just in case my foot goes through one of these days and my wife needs to bring me out a chainsaw to get me out of trouble, if you want to put it that way. Break me out of jail. Okay. And we'll do that. We'll do this. And I'm going to get this one up here tied into the roof here right away. Don't like that. Need to bring this one back just a touch, even though it doesn't sit quite as well. Okay, let's do this. We'll roll that one down. No, we can't do that. Let's just put that fits better right there. We're going to leave it right there. Okay. That'll work for right there. I hate the nuts. But that kind of is what it is. What I always try to do is, you can see this pile right in this area has a little lean to it. So I'll bring the knot in, and now that kind of levels it out where the knot is on the low end of that lean. And we'll walk carefully again. And when I get done with, in the middle, I always try to put smaller pieces that don't really affect how these things sit in there. That's going to be too high. That's not going to be a good fit at all. And you've got to take your time on this. Get them well fit together. It's like putting a puzzle together. Because if you don't, they land up tipping over. Now, I'm up, I'm in. I'm going to put the pressure up against there just like that. Under pressure. A little David Bowie music for you, I think. Under pressure. Okay. Yes. Do not put comments in that I should leave the singing to the professionals. I already get that. Alrighty. Like I said, I used to be a teacher. I'm the only guy that ever got banned from singing in his classroom. They said I was torturing kids. I can't believe that. I don't know. All right, here's our last two pieces of wood off of that bucket. So, and I didn't have the bucket filled all the way, but this is why you stack it. I mean, just kind of bringing it up to this level. You know, when you stack it, you get so much more into a nice small area. And look at the gaps that I got for that wood to be able to breathe. And then all the spaces. This is how you get wood to dry. Okay? Just real happy with that. I got a feeling this stuff, starting with this row here, this row, and this row, if it works out the way it normally does, I might get into this row in March, maybe the end of April, but these two rows that are going to be over in this corner I won't get to. So next year I'll start on this side of the wood bin in January and go that direction. And like I told you, in a previous video, I take what's outside stacked first because the snow isn't that deep out there. Once we get into January, February, and we've got 2-3 feet of snow, your bottom 2 or 3 feet when you pile outside like that is got snow in it. And so this just is, and then it doesn't burn quite as well as it could. So I'm gonna keep splitting for a while. The other thing I gotta do is I gotta fill the wood. You know, I got that wood rack right on the deck of the house. So I'll finish up that row that I have in back, and then that'll go into the wood rack. I've got a second wood rack sitting up against the 3-season room over there. That wood rack is going to go on the other side of the 3-season room too, and we'll get that full. So when we hit 30 below here in January, if we do with El Nino the way it is this year, may not get that cold if it's going to be in the 40s again this week. But then I've got enough wood stacked right up by the house that I don't have to worry about every 2 days or something refilling the wood rack. So that's our video for today. That's our project for today, to get this done. Tomorrow, or one of the days here soon, I'm hoping we finish framing out the inside of that four-season room so we can start hanging the wood on the ceiling. And we got some really nice stuff from Enterprise Wood Products and Rhinelander. I'm excited about that, to get that up. And once we get that up, it's working on the walls. And, you know, my goal is, and I shouldn't say this for all the world to hear, but my goal is, and I've always got to work toward a goal. YouTube is a goal right now, but my goal is that we're going to be able to be in that four-season room by Super Bowl time. So we'll see how that goes, because over underneath this brown tarp is the 1x maple that is what we had cut out of these logs that we're now making firewood out of. But they're the 1x maples that I am going to make in the shiplap. And I've got an idea on how I'm going to do that. We'll see how that goes on another day. So once again, Perrodin the project guy, Perrodin project specialist. And you got to watch my first video to figure out why it's specialist. But Perrodin the project specialist, that's our project for today. Thank you. Share it with a friend.